if we look into the concrete elements around human rights due diligence, there is still a problem with the granularity of children's rights being embedded fully in those systems. And I think there's a lot of work to be done there. This is the assumption with many businesses, but not just businesses, with others too, UN agencies and NGOs even, which is that it's all about child labour. It's so much more. It's the full panoply of children's rights, nutrition, parental care, living conditions, play, environment, the impact of marketing and advertising, safeguarding, around issues of abuse, education, health, etc., etc., etc.
For us, our long-term ambition is that everyone touched by our business is treated with fairness, dignity, and respect. That includes kids. Children's rights are absolutely critical to achieving our mission as a business and for our role in society.
I think of this in two ways. The first is about promoting a responsible business conduct. This is, if you will, the principal starting point for what we do. We base our work on the OECD guidelines and the UNGP, and clearly also the child rights and business principles are relevant in that regard. And we have ethical guidelines specifying, for example, that we should exclude companies that contribute to the worst forms of child labor. So it's clearly relevant to our values, but it's also relevant to our long-term value creation. It goes to the core of our mission. As a diversified universal investor, we are concerned about the practices that increase risks or lower economic development and growth. We need companies and markets to lead to sustainable and legitimate outcomes. This will in turn lead to more successful management of our fund over time. None of this is simple, of course, but we believe that companies can start by asking themselves, what's our impact on children's rights? What are the risks involved in making this choice? How could it hinder us strategically? How could we change outcomes?
At IKEA, we've engaged on children's rights for many years, ranging from the prevention of child labor in the supply chain, to taking a child perspective when it comes to product development, to designing our stores to be child-friendly, and to doing campaigns on the right to play, for example. Our commitment to children's rights really starts at the top and builds on our vision of creating a better everyday life for the many people, and is very clearly linked to our core business values. But when it comes to getting the support of the sort of senior leadership or top management, we found that by clearly linking the impacts that we have as a company, whether it's direct or indirect, to our core business activities, that's what gets everybody feeling involved.
We see child rights as important to VF because it's critical to our business. Many of the workers in our supply chain are parents. Over 60% of them have children. So ensuring that the rights of their children are protected will ultimately lead to them being a happier and more productive workforce.
The first one is exactly that, deepening the real deep embedding and integration of children's rights in existing processes, or identifying where existing processes don't fit. It's fantastic if, as Mars, we can make a big difference in our own supply chains. But that's not enough. How can we make the concepts of human rights, particularly children's rights, be more normalized, more common in these sectors? And collaboration, obviously, is the answer. We keep hearing these themes day in, day out. I really love the plenary comment around who are we listening to? And when it comes to integrating children's rights, I think all of us, global business in particular, has a huge role to do more in listening to children themselves, but also listening to caretakers, and just going beyond basic research, but really listening. And that takes courage, and that can be difficult, and that takes time. It's a completely different kind of skill set and exercise.
We're in the really privileged position, most of us, I guess, in this room, that we can actually do something about those topics. And what we're going to do, and whether or not businesses are thinking about child rights or about human rights, is going to have a real impact on real children.